With me is Gene Saffel, Chief Financial Officer, Tim Munin, our Budget Director. Several weeks ago, we announced that next year Chicago would have a substantial budget deficit, a direct result of the continued impact of the nation's recession on city revenues, not only on us, but also the county and state as well. Although we're now experiencing a slight increase in some city revenues, like every other city and state, Chicago's economy and revenue recovery will be very, very, very slow. In fact, some economists now believe that new jobs will be created even more slowly than they originally thought, and that is very, very bad news for citizens of the United States. As you know, to get ahead of our budget deficit, we consistently cut spending, taking steps to control the cost of government. The last 2 years alone, we have cut over $400 million in spending. To help balance next year's budget, we must continue to improve the management of government so that it works better and more efficiently for its citizens. Today, we are announcing several new initiatives that are aimed at further controlling our costs, transforming the structure of government by privatizing management execution of some city services. Specifically, we are planning to issue a series of requests for proposals in several areas that we believe may present us with the opportunity to further control the costs of government. I want to be clear that the RFPs might come back with bids that don't provide financial or operational benefits. We'll see what the marketplace says. First, the Department of Streets and Sanitation will seek to find a recycling hauler who might be able to provide this service at a much, much lower cost. The proposal would be to privatize the current blue card service, use a savings gain to expand in new areas. In addition, we are also looking at separate plans to provide recycling drop-off bins at various chain stores, large facilities, pharmacies to make recycling much more convenient as people go to shop throughout the city. Next, there will be an RFP for the Office of Special Events to outsource the Lakefront musical festivals, maybe including the Taste of Chicago, to private events organizers who would assume responsibility for planning, executing events, providing security, and, of course, cleanup services. As we previously announced, the Department of Human Resources will issue an RFP to outsource the responsibility for hiring labor and trade positions in city infrastructure departments. The private firm would post, check, test, recommend candidates for hire. There will be an RFP for the Department of Fleet Management to find outside vendors who might provide maintenance and repair of fleet, vehicles, and equipment. There will be an RFP from Animal Care and Control to outsource to a private or charitable organization for feeding and cage cleaning functions now performed by city employees. The General Service Department will put out an RFP to enter into potential concessions agreements to locate ATMs, movie rental boxes, in city facilities. This could generate revenue and provide more amenities in city facilities for its residents. The Department of Revenue will explore supplementing the city's cashiering services by contracting with private vendors at various neighborhood locations to accept payments to the city, which is really important. Again, I want to make clear that the RFPs might come back with bids that we cannot afford. If so, we will not move forward. But I'm always looking for new ways for us to do better. I hope we'll receive some solid responses. As I said at the City Club a few weeks ago, we can't balance the budget through better management alone. And that's why this year we've already cut non-personnel, non-spending, safety spending across the board by over 6%. And it's why we're working with our vendors to reshape their contracts and have asked them to cut the costs of their contracts by 10%. And why it's most of our unions and all of our non-union employees have taken cuts of more than 9% through unpaid holidays. We're the only, when you think about cities, county and state and even federal government, we're the only ones doing this. I'm taking 10%. I'm taking of $20,000. That's a lot of money. So you lead by example. Moving forward, to help balance next year's budget, we'll ask our non-union employees to take unpaid holidays and furlough days again next year, as I will. I can't rule out that we'll have to again challenge our unions to be part of the solution in balancing next year's budget. And no one likes to hear that, but again, we're all in it together. Since I have been mayor, we have cut spending by more than $2.7 billion. In the last 10 years, we've cut over 6,200 employees, even as we added sworn police officers. To keep our city affordable for its residents, I have said that the 2011 budget won't propose any increase in property taxes. People are hurting, and they are hurting. I don't want to add to their further personal burdens in their life. As I said twice this year already, I can't rule out to balance next year's budget will be forced to put many things on hold or reduce or cut some services, permanently or for a year or two. Until we know more how the economic recovery is going, that is the challenge. We're living in a very difficult, very difficult financial times here in the city, in the country. These are difficult, much more difficult times than the media understands. I can assure that our taxpayers that should have come to any of this, that would be the last resort. At the same time, I want to again make it clear that we are not considering any further asset leases to balance next year's budget. We want to say that we are looking carefully at using a portion of TIF funds to help balance next year's budget, even as we continue to invest in TIF funds and projects that are essential to building a stronger economy, and they're all over the city. Better managing government has been my priority from the first day of my office. When I became mayor, I spoke about making sure that government was smaller in size, but greater in performance, accountability, and transparency. I firmly believe the steps we are announcing today, once again, will deliver on that commitment. Thank you.